Why don't you stand and I'm going to make all the actors sit. You stay.
Okay, great. And first off, we'd like to thank everyone for sticking with us and being a part of this. I'd like to give those of you probably your actors, you're just visiting and seeing this. Give the actors and Andrew Christie a round of applause. And I'll also ask the actors that Andrew asked to come up to the front so that we can do this.
And you want to do it half and half, or you want to do it all at once?
Oh,
okay. All at once, guys.
I would also like to let you know that the NYPD is gonna help, have extra officers to help make sure that we get home safely, and that is something that is extremely important, especially in these times where people don't really trust in police officers anymore. So this is, I mean, like some of the guys, if you can like stand behind someone and just make it look really pretty and stuff like that.
Why don't you put 2 or 3 chairs on top?
So, to the audience, I want to ask you, how many of you here are of LGBTQ experience or identification? And how many of you have actually dealt with mental illness, if I may ask? And how many of you actually know someone that may have dealt with mental illness? Mental illness is something that is extremely serious in our community. And when we talk, the last segment of this was extremely poignant for me because there are so many views that you could take from this. You can see where, okay, this young man needed attention, and so that's what he was looking for. But at the same time, are your friends going to be there and help guide you through it? Are they going to see you as someone that's just looking for attention, or are they going to look at it as a real cry for help? And this is why the Peter Pan comparison is so poignant. It's so pertinent to this story of mental illness. And when it comes to suicide, it's something that we really need to really feed into. So I'd like to first give you all a round of applause. And I would like you can pick whichever one of you, just tell me what your experience was like filming this.
Well, I think that it was a tremendous experience refilming my own life, that's for sure. And like I showed before, my best friend and the actor who was playing him, we really dedicated ourselves to getting the disorders right and to getting the people right in a non-exploitive way, in a way that really just depicted who these human beings were and what the accurate depiction of the disorders were in a subtle way, not in a way that was like, people were just being loony for the sake of being loony for ratings, for something that was boost ratings. Because we never wanted to be like that. We never wanted to be, I'm going to be bipolar, so one minute I'm going to be screaming in a marketplace or something like that. Because that's not really what bipolar is all the time. It's like sometimes you're just, you're just down and you can't get out of bed, and that's just the truth. And sometimes you really are just, going through some stuff. That's really the truth there.
Well, I didn't get to interview you earlier, and you played.
I played the part of the John, the boyfriend. I hired Pandrew as my escort or callboy.
But you're kind of young to be having a callboy and kind of too gorgeous to have it. Is that just a myth?
Well, it was fantasy. It was a fetish. I want to be dominated. At the same time, it's also a dominance thing to pay for a service. So, there's a little bit of a twist.
And there was also my fans. I was like, well, I'm the casting director. So, I mean, so we're gonna pick the best looking guy. No, but the truth is that being that it is a true story, a lot of the guys who are married, you know, they're just looking for someone who is just not going to out them and is just gonna, you know, it's like, I want to be in and out. It's like, you know, I want to just get this fetish, because I mean, what he was into in the film was severe stuff. So it was like, it's not just
that was severe.
severe. It was severe. So it was stuff that wasn't going to be, you know, just like, he wanted a very specific niche, and he knew that he was going to get it from me. And also, I think that he wanted a little boy, you know, so he wanted someone who was going to come in a little outfit and stuff like that.
This Peter Pan's kind of dynamic that you have going on, it reflects on your youth and it seems like almost an inability to grow up.
Absolutely.
None of us want to grow up, do we? So, I mean, thank you for bringing this to the light, but you have an advantage because you still look like you're 12.
I mean, hearing this is making me, you know, like, that's what keeps me waking up in the morning, but at the same time, it's what keeps me in this pigeonhole that I just keep going back. It's like, you know, you saw me in the scene where it's like the guy says, how old are you? And it's like, how old's your mom? It's like, that's the thing that keeps me going every time. And really, all the characters, they do play their Peter Pan role. Like, we have our Wendy, we have our Tinkerbell. You know, it's like, he would be the shadow to Peter Pan, because, you know, I see him and we have that kindred connection. And then she's not here right now, the girl Magdalena, she's like the female Peter Pan. Like, I see this girl and I'm so fascinated by her because she's working all the men, you know? It's like, she's working, and I'm just like, you're amazing. You have this guy on the side, you know, it's like, I'm in love with you. And it's like, and really it's just because she's kind of giving me a run for my own money. And then him, he's like our Captain Hook, you know? So I try and play with those, you know, those metaphors.
Because you are like, I mean, you have taken sexuality to another level, because it's like you're looking at you and here you are with this guy who's supposed to be a John, and here you have women that are 22 years old fawning over you, saying that they want to be with you, they want to be a part of your life. Yeah, that's lovely to hear. So now I'm going to actually turn this over, and if you would like, you can raise your hand, I'll point to you. You have any questions for any of the actors up here? I do believe that they're open to answering all questions.
Let's see some good ones, guys.
So, who'd like to go first? Don't everyone stare at me all at once.
Please don't be shy. We want to hear your feedback, really.
We're gonna call on people. We're gonna call on people.
Go ahead.
Hi, darling. Thank you.
To come up with the right way to say it. This is kind of a question for each member of the cast. What being a part of this, what does that mean to you each as an individual?
What does it mean to each of you to be a part of this creation, of this piece of work?
Well, for me, it was kind of a learning experience, an eye-opener. I mean, I feel like before this, I lived in my own little bubble. I'm 19, going to college. So to do this, it's like, wow, you know, there's so much going out there that I hear of it, but you don't really get to understand it. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I completely understand. I was part of this movie. It's so much like I understand everything that's going on now. No, but it definitely opened my eyes to it. It did make me want to, you know, help out, reach out more. It made me more open-minded. And I feel like that's something that's great to walk away from that. It's never a bad thing to feel like coming out of something and knowing more, learning more. It's, you know, I'm always grateful, and I'm grateful for Andrew for picking me for this, because I appreciate this so much. And working with such amazing people, you learn a lot from it, and you learn more about the world, as corny or cliche that may seem, but it's true. So for me, it was great. It was amazing, and to be able to do this and come and, you know, to hear other people and to work with people as like the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and because, you know, that's a big issue, especially at the end. So I mean, that's all I can say. It's great. It's fun.
So cool. Our beauty right here.
I would say, I just think that people need to talk more openly about mental illness and about suicide prevention. So I really like doing it. It was my first time acting at all, and I want to do it again.
Really, your first time? Congratulations.
I think that on top of it, you know, broadening our
thinking and just showing us a lot of different aspects of the prism that you don't normally see. You know, we all kind of look at the prism of life in our own view and just kind of turned it on its head. But I think definitely, like you were saying, that the Foundation for Suicide Prevention and just all the stigmas, it really opened my eyes and made me connect the dots much more to maybe some things that were going on in my friend's life that I was seeing but didn't really, you know what I mean? Like, I got my own stuff going on, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's kind of just like, maybe I can lend a hand. Maybe I can say, hey, you know, give them a call. What's going on? Like, are you okay? Like, I'm here for you. So.
Great, and let's hear from the guys from the cast, these handsome men that all over Andrew. Great. Marcus, thank you.
I think that this, this film is a coming-age story of self-acceptance, and with the issues of mental illness, I believe that we tend to recreate our traumas until we're ready to heal from them. And so the fact that Andrew can have such bravery and fearlessness and put out a story like this, I was drawn to that 100%. I mean, it's raw, it's vulnerable, and that's how I feel people are at their most powerful. So I love it.
And you guys were absolutely powerful in your performances.
They pretty much said everything I wanted to say.
But you have more to add, so.
No, but I felt like I lived in a bubble. You know, I felt like I lived in a rather normal life, and to see what's going on out there, that I can't just keep living in my bubble. I need to go out there and I need to try to implement the change that I want to see in the world. But I will say that just watching the movie, this is my second time watching it. It's just amazing to see that, you know, you can be yourself. And that, I mean, Andrew's genius. The stuff he put out there, I just connect with it so much. And you can be yourself. You don't have to worry about what society thinks of you and labels. I know sometimes it's harder to do it rather than say it, but I mean, it's just nice to watch it and get refreshed, you know, second wind to just go out there and be myself.
And now, Jay Gyllenhaal, I mean, what's your name?
I think this film served as an overall wake-up call for a lot of people. It really opened my eyes to, like, these disorders are real and people are experiencing just because you're not experiencing them. They're out there, and just these, like, having it and falling into those like repeated traumatic elements, just being addicted to these little cat and mouse games. It just shows, like, this is powerful stuff that we're dealing with. We don't take this lightly at all. So.
I was just bored. I definitely appreciate working on this film. It was a great experience working with Andrew and the rest of the cast. I feel like it brought to light a lot of mental illness. You know, turns out I have a few mental illnesses myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was just laughing. We all did.
Yeah, we all.
We laugh because we accept it, because we know that, you know, we don't, a lot of times we take things in such a serious manner, you know, and this is a serious and a very serious issue. But sometimes when you're dealing with it and you live in it, sometimes you just have to smile because it helps to alleviate some of the pressure.
Absolutely, and it was great. You know, we had a fun time doing it.
I bet,
and
especially your scenes.
Going back to Joan Rivers, when I watched the thing with her with a heckler, and she said, you know, if you don't laugh, where would you be? Like 9/11, it's like, I mean, if you don't laugh, where are you in this world? And that's why it's like, you know, we call this a docudrama. It's like, it's not a drama and it's not a comedy, but it's like, there's definitely its funny moments, and it has to be, because it's like, if we're not laughing a little bit, it's like, I mean, in my life, it just seems kind of miserable sometimes.
Because there were some parts where I was sitting over there, you know, and in between the cell phone age and all that stuff, it was, I knew it was so important. I knew we were discussing and seeing really, but it was so funny. It made it a little bit lighter, and it made it, you know what, okay, you know what, I may have a mental illness, so I will deal with it, you know. Other questions, please, feel free. No, really, feel free.
Anyway, come on.
Where was it filmed? The neighborhood looks familiar. It looks like
Brooklyn.
in Queens somewhere.
Bayside, Queens.
I was going to say Bayside, yeah.
Bayside, Queens. Yes, and some was filmed in Manhattan as well.
And why did you pick Bayside particularly?
Permit. Movie permits. That's why.
That's true too. Yeah, we got a lot of a lot of locations.
So in our in the past, in the past about 3 to 4 years, we've seen where a lot of people that identify as LGBTQ, especially in the transgender community, that have been committing suicide, saying, you know what, I'm going to do this because I cannot be a part of this world. I cannot live like this. This is not for me. And I'm someone who has actually, I attempted suicide about 13 to 14 times as I was growing up. And when I looked at these stories of youth, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, that committed suicide, saying my parents don't love me, people don't understand me, what would be your message to these people?
Oh, me? I mean, that's a tough one. I feel like, what could I say, to help accept, be yourself. And society, as Andrew puts out a lot in the movie, they have so many things that they tell us how we should be and what we should do, and it really takes a toll on everyone in different ways. And it's hard, again, someone mentioned to say it and do it is two different things, but, just really embrace who you are and go on every single day knowing that I am who I am, and that's not a bad thing. So I guess that's how I would take it, and it's day by day. It's not going to happen all at once. It's going to take its steps, and you're going to have your hard times, you're going to have your good times, but that's what makes it life.
You've been reading my Facebook page, haven't you?
I guess it's a cliche, or not a cliche, but it's something that everyone says, like, it gets better. But it really does get better. If I was talking to a 14-year-old and wanted to tell us about any of it breaks my heart to think about that. But really, to be honest, back in the day, that was me. And I guess I just, lost some day or whatever. But now I'm, doing well. I'm, have been decently successful as a journalist and doing stuff like this, and it really does get better.
No, it's okay. The emotions show me that
I think that 2 words could really effectively sum it all up for someone who's thinking about committing suicide, and that would be fuck them. Honestly, fuck them. Because I've known so many people, myself included, where you just feel like what am I, I'm not understood, I'm not accepted, nobody gets it, nobody gets me. My life is so unique and different that no one could possibly get me. And the truth of it is, if I could talk to these children or even me back in the day, it would be fuck it, fuck them, fuck everything. This is you. You have one shot. You have one chance. This is it. You know what I mean? And it's just full throttle the whole way. Just you can do it, and this can be beautiful, and it can work out, and it does work out, and everything is wonderful.
I agree.
I think
Marco, is it Marco or Marcus?
Yes.
No, Marco. Okay.
I think one of the issues also is that we have these personas that we try and play, and the truth is that we do have moments where we feel this type of desperation, where sometimes we even want to hurt ourselves. And I think if you can make a safe space where you're able to actually show your real raw emotion, then you can actually pull that out of someone else and eventually make a real connection with someone. So I would tell people just to show who they really are, to make a true connection with as many people as possible. Because you need to build a support system. Like Andrew was trying to build a family. What is that family? It's unconditional forgiveness, unconditional love.
That is so true. Yeah.
For me, I'm going to reference The Catcher in the Rye. The main character basically feels alone and misunderstood the entire way. And it's not until the very end when his little sister comes up and says, wherever you go, I'm going. And that's how we should be with people. It's hard to do that because we have our own lives and we get busy. But, if we just tell people, do this, live this way, be happy, don't worry about it, and then just fade off, we can never truly, it's hard to have our lasting impact. But to, go down there, in the slums or whatever, wherever they are in their, spirituality, and tell them I'm going to be here with you no matter what, that's a beautiful thing. I think that's where you can make money.
Jay? I think everyone actually has issues, and it's life. I think it's not, when people say, I'm experiencing this and experiencing that, I'm trying to be as sympathetic as possible. But I say it's not life going bad, it's life. You're going to experience pain, and it's more about how you deal with that and not turn it into like a suffering, and just try your best to move on.
Mr. John?
Well, I mean, we all go through our tough times. We all have our hard days, and you just have to take one step at a time, just 1 minute at a time, 1 second at a time sometimes, and just think about all the things that you haven't done yet, and think about the things that you would regret if you haven't given yourself an opportunity to live more, and just take the world by storm and experience new things.
Thank you. Andrew, this is specifically for you, though. For me, you had to now not only live this, but now you had to act it and write it and play it. What was it like for you having to relive that suicide moment?
It was very difficult, and I didn't know how difficult it would be until I was, because I mean, I'm a really hard worker. So while I was doing it, I was very caught up in it, and then when I was actually watching it, I was like, oh my God, like this is really, really like what I live. And like I'm telling you, the other people who are these people, they've watched it, and they very much said, like, this was us. Like, it's like, to the point where it's like people who are later on in life, they're like, they said, like, I was piecing together, and they were like, hold on, I was at that party at the end. They were like, these people are so accurate, and they're just like amazed. And one person who was actually the girl who's the real Russian girl, she said, she's like, one thing that you did, she's like, you deceived everybody into making you think that you are very much the victim in all this. And she goes, I think that you make people forget the fact, because you are so charming, that you have hurt other people. She goes, you're calling people up, and you're calling people up, and you're calling people up. She's like, and you make people forget the fact that other people were hurt by your actions, and other people were hurt by what you've done. She's like, and really, she's like, everything is, oh, well, at the end of the day, you're so cute and you're so charming. And I was like, well, if you think about it, I was like, that's Peter Pan. I was like, Peter Pan is that little boy who is in disguise, and she's like, very clever. So I mean, but this was all a very big labor of love, going back to the suicide prevention factor. Really channel your energy and channel that emotion into putting it out into creativity. All of this started when I wrote the books as a suicide note. And I was planning on leaving it to these people, and really I just got so swept up in it, and I was like, all these people that I'm thinking are hurting me, it's like they're there for me. It's like in their own way. I mean, everybody's having their ups and downs, and they're having their ups and downs. And yet, we're all there for each other. It's like, no family's perfect. And I mean, the family that I built isn't perfect, the family that I was born in isn't perfect, and they're all there for each other. And what I've really got is, on top of that, I got a wonderful cast who is also, I mean, as much as they're like the people they're supposed to be, whether it's appearance-wise or whether it's, personality-wise, they're also, you see it, I mean, this girl, she just got so emotional because of the issues. And it's like, and we're here, at the center because of the fact that we are believing in the cause. And that's what's important. It's like, we want to be, it's like, I mean, it's wonderful to be on Access Hollywood, and it's wonderful to be, schmoozing at the big galas and stuff like that. We've done, we've been to the galas, like the, Night of 1,000 Galas, so much fun. But at the end of the day, being here and, and being around people who could, I mean, I had a woman just come up to me before and said, "This is so wonderful." She goes, "I've lived this." That's so heartbreaking. That's wonderful. That's what this is. That's what this is for. That's what this is for.
That's what work is about, of course.
And I hope that everybody feels that way. I hope that everyone involved feels that way.
Well, from what I have seen and from the way they have spoken, your cast is absolutely amazing, totally amazing. And from reading their bios, I was reading one bio where one of your cast members actually has dealt with drug addiction and abuse and stuff like that. And so that is something that is so amazing, because when you look at actors sometimes, you know, you tend not to be able to relate, if you guys can understand what I'm saying. You're looking at Bruce Willis blowing up buildings and stuff, and you're going, yeah, okay, this is entertainment. But when you see Peter Pandrew, you're looking at life, you're looking at reality, and then you look at the actresses and the actors, and they're not just playing roles, they're actually reliving a part of their lives. And we have a question now from one of my dear friends, Peter. So, Peter.
This is actually going to be our last question because we have about 5 minutes to answer it. We have about 5 minutes to answer it, and then we literally have to vacate this room within about 3 minutes because they locked the doors to the building. So, so answer this question, and this is for everyone in the room. I'd like to know if you saw yourself in this film in any part, and if so, what part? So everyone in the room can answer, the audience as well as the cast.
So the question was, do any of you see yourselves in any of the characters in this film? And if so, which characters do you actually relate to?
Yes, I almost suicide. Almost jumped off the roof. I was disappointed in the month there. I left my family for 2 years, and then the girl disappointed me. She was sleeping with everybody. Instead, I just went up on the roof. She came in. I went up on the roof and looked down and saw my body down there on 3rd Street, Avenue C. And instead, I went back downstairs. We got into it. I gave her money for an apartment, month's rent, month's security, and put her out. And I never looked back. And I never thought about it again.
Well, thank God you're still here, and thank God you had the ability.
And that's been over 50 years ago.
50? Oh my God! Hey, you started your relationship at 11? I should have met you. Next.
Is there anybody who relates to somebody in film?
Well, you're also good looking, at which I can relate to all of your looks.
Well, you're quite
Thank you very much. I have a sibling who committed suicide, so I have dealt with that over the years, and a friend who also. So I thank you for bringing these issues to light. It's something that I think about every day with my family. So thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is actually the cast of Peter Pandrew, and of course, everything will be coming soon. Andrew will give you the websites and stuff like that. I'm Dominique Jackson. It's always been my pleasure to be here with you all. Thank you.
Please hand them in to us. We really want to get your feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're so wonderful.